privilege, really, on this really remarkable day for us. First of all, we'd like to get started, as we always do, with a land acknowledgement. So we respectfully acknowledge that the Central East region is located on the traditional and treaty territories of the Mississauga of Sugog Island Nations and Williams Treaties First Nation of Curve Lake, Hiawatha's Georgia Island, Beausoleil, and Remia First Nations. Our work on these lands acknowledge their resilient and long-standing contributions to the Central East region. We offer our gratitude to the Indigenous people for their care and teachings about their relationship with Mother Earth and all living things, and that we may foster these healthy relationships and teachings in the journey of Indigenous and non-Indigenous patients. We also acknowledge and support the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's 94 calls to action to advance through Canada the process of reconciliation with the First Nations, Inuit, Métis, and urban Indigenous peoples. The health section of the call for action envisions improving the health outcomes for Indigenous people in Canada. May our partnerships with them help us work together to provide the best health for all of us. So with that, I think we will get started, and just a couple of housekeeping issues this morning. We'll ask you to keep your mask on and to distance as much as you can. For the speakers that are coming forward, we welcome you to take off your mask today if you choose to do that. So we're grateful to have all of you join us this morning, and as I look around, I know what it means for each of you in terms of this milestone for us today. We want to acknowledge many of you and all of you in joining in this celebration. We acknowledge today the Honorable Peter Bethlenfalvy, who's joined us, Minister of Finance and NPP for Pickering-Uxbridge, John Henry, Chair of the Region of Durham, Sterling Lee, Regional Ward 2 Councillor for the town of Ajax, who's representing Mayor Sean Hillier today. Thanks so much for joining us. From Infrastructure Ontario, we have Guy Logan, Senior Vice President, Dominic Newtell, Director. From the Ministry of Long-Term Care Capital Planning Branch, we have Rachel O'Neill and Sarah Siddiqui. And from PCL, we have Mark Pascoli, Vice President and District Manager, Andrew O'Brien, Senior Superintendent, Greg Walker, Project Manager, and Andre Boren, Construction Manager. And finally, it's my honor to welcome our staff, our physicians, our volunteers, our board members, and also the chairs and board members for our foundations as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's hard to believe that 2 years ago this was actually a green field, and that when we struck construction of this site in less than 13 months, we were actually near completion. It really is a testimony to so much hard work and dedication. And we are so excited to be part of that. This really is the opening today that we're celebrating 320 new beds, long-term care beds for the entire Durham region, which we know are needed tremendously. But before we actually opened today, we understood the impact that this building was going to have on us as a system and a system of integration. As we started to deal with Wave 5 throughout our organization, we were given the opportunity to move a number of patients into the third floor of this building in February, before the building was actually completed. And there's so many of you to thank for that. But what it also demonstrated to us was what we were going to be able to do as a system of care that really was about integration and caring for people in the most appropriate place. What that allowed us to do in February was really to care for the sickest patients that were showing up in our emergency departments throughout our organization that needed to be admitted to hospital. And there's too many of you to thank individually for making that happen. But it really was a testimony to when we work together, what we can achieve together. And for us, it's a sign of many incredible things to come forward for us as we start to think about advancing Lakeridge Health's vision, one system, best health, and a system of integration. And with that, I'll turn it over to our board chair, Ms. Sharon Cochran.
are not all fogged up to start this morning, so I've got the mask up. First of all, I would like to acknowledge Don Mitchell, the Mayor of Whitby, that is also in attendance on that. And I'll welcome also to everyone that's here. It's as a board chair, it is really an honor to be part of this government program, this accelerated build program. And it's also a real privilege to be the first that is completed, and I will say this, the first build that has been completed under this new concept on that. So as I was just standing and looking at this facility this morning, inside, again, standing outside on that, I was reminded of the many, many, many conversations that Lakeridge Health has had and the board has had. And throughout those conversations, our focus has always been on our vision and the importance of this vision and the importance that the activities that we are involved in align with this vision. And when the board started to discuss this, we knew this project was a fit for us, and it was a fit for our vision, one system, best health. The other part of the conversations with the board is there was a commitment to making a difference in long-term care in the Durham region. And I think 320 new build beds do make a difference in the region on that. And so congratulations really to everyone on that. And the difference really was the collaboration, the support that we got from our provincial government. And Peter, a thank you for 100% dollars for the capital build on that part. A thank you to our municipal leaders in the Durham region for their support as we've gone along in this construction. And of course to PCL Construction on that, just a huge thank you to you on that part. The other thing too is that even the name of the facility, if we think back, the name of the facility has its origins in collaboration. And we sought out the perspective of our community members, physicians, staff, and we had more than 600 people who provided responses in the name on that. So thanks to this input, this name, Lakeridge Gardens, reflects the people, our communities, our patients, and that we serve each and every day on that. In addition to these diverse voices, I think you've heard from Cindy, Lakeridge Gardens also embodies growth, and it embodies our integration direction we're going with Lakeridge Health on that part. And finally, I just want to say that there's some just really incredible features that we're extremely proud of in this facility, including our landscape courtyard. 75% of our beds or our rooms are private. We have support for people with the need with bariatric residents. We have a floor that has a specialized behavioral unit. We have a 9-station dialysis unit and thank you to the Ontario Renal Network for the support on that. So on behalf of the Lakeridge Health Board of Trustees and Lakeridge Health, just a huge, huge thank you to all these partners for their outstanding efforts. And I just have to have a quick call out. Thank you to Mark Murphy. Mark, you are standing in the back on that, the Senior Director of Capital Planning and Development and his team, and to Julie Goldstein, and I don't know where Julie is, but the Senior Director of Healthy Aging. Oh, I'm sorry, she's right in front of me. It was the sitting down with the blanket part I missed. And I was only talking to her for about 10 minutes before we started. But anyway, Julie, just a huge thank you to you and your team on that. So congratulations to everyone. This is a huge, huge celebration for all of us. and enjoy the celebration of this new state-of-the-art long-term care center. Thank you very much. And now it's my honor to welcome Minister Bethlenfalvy to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sharon. This is terrific. It is spring, right? I refuse to wear a coat because it's spring. I'm very stubborn Hungarian that I am. Well, good morning, everyone. It's such a thrill to be here today, and thank you, Sharon, those remarks, and Cindy, and all the board members. You mentioned the great collaboration that's necessary to get these things done municipally, regionally, provincially, and federally. The pandemic which hit us, I think it's fair to say much of the world wasn't ready for the pandemic. Clearly, we in Ontario, through years and years, and not pointing at any fingers, we weren't ready. Excuse me, we had a shortfall of beds in Durham that's been building up for decades, and long wait lists, and not enough support staff, and so when the Premier and I and Rod Phillips and others stood somewhere around here, there was nothing here. It was July of 2020. I remember like it was yesterday. John, you were probably there as well. And municipally, our partners were there. And the Premier had a vision, and I've worked very closely with the Premier for the last 4 years, and he had a vision of saying, this is not good enough. We have to do something. We have to build beds, modern beds. We need to staff it, and we need to do it in a timely basis. So who would have thought, standing there in July of 2020, that the first shovel in the ground, I think, went in January of, or maybe somewhere around there, January of 2021. We came here for the capping off not that long ago, and here we are in March of 2022, 13 months after the first shovel, to be able to stand in front of this remarkable building. And folks, doesn't that just tell you, if you put your mind to something, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And we're standing here to do that. Unfortunately, Lauren Coe, who was one of those champions who promoted the project, is unable to join us, but he told me to wish you all the best on completing this project on time and achieving this occupancy milestone. And you mentioned, Lakeridge Gardens, and I love the name, is the first long-term care home built under the Ontario's Accelerated Build program in just 13 months. Now, for those of you who know me, I am a little competitive. You have to be in this business. You got to run hard all the time. And this is one of 3 projects. You may not know that there's another one in Mississauga. There's one very close to Humber, and there's this one. And thanks to PCL, the great people at PCL and IO, and the collaboration, Sharon, that you talked about, this is the first one to be completed. And I'm so proud of that. I know it's cold, people want to go in, and they probably don't want to hear a politician talk, but I've got the microphone, so I'll talk a little bit more. Who this building really speaks to is those families. Those families who lost loved ones through the tragedy of the pandemic in March of 2020, in April of 2020, and continue. They lost their loved ones, a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, an aunt, or an uncle. To me, this building is for them. The voices who lost loved ones because of the pandemic. And it's buildings like this, Sharon, you talked about this as a modern facility, as a campus of care, an integrated vision, the staffing. We can't do it without the human health resources, and I see a few of you came out today. Thank you so much for being here today and what you're doing inside. This is for the families. This is why you get up every morning. This is why you work 18 hours a day. Many of you on the board, many of you at Lakeridge Health, at IO, at PCL, Julia, there you are, I see her, she's right there. This is for them. This is for them, and when we work together, this is what we can accomplish together. So I'm honored to welcome 320 future residents more than honored to welcome 500 team members and countless volunteers and families and visitors to Lakeridge Gardens. Congratulations to everyone involved. Thank you very much. It wasn't in the script, but I have a feeling John's in the group position, so it's over to you, John.
So good morning, everybody. No, those that know me know, good morning, everybody. Well, it's really not a good morning, it is a great morning. So thank you, Minister Bethlenfalvy, to be here, Mayor Mitchell and Deputy Mayor Sterling Lee from Ajax, and I am so excited to be here. But before I start, we're at the end of that dark light of a COVID tunnel. We're coming out, the world is bright, but we couldn't have done it without all of the doctors, the nurses, the lab technicians, everyone that worked at Lakeridge Health. Give them a big round of applause. You know, this building to be built during the most difficult time in the history of this province since World War II, with supply shortages, labor shortages, the challenges of COVID, the people of PCL, you deserve a big round of applause, and thank you for doing this. And Peter, you are so much right. It was a lot warmer in July, and I won't speak for very long, but at that time, you know that Mayor Collier made a commitment that whatever needed to be done in the town of Ajax would be done. And we made a commitment at the region that whatever was needed to be done would be done. And this is about partnerships. This is about the province, the municipality, the hospital, all coming together to have what we have here today. And I'm so incredibly proud to be here and part of this celebration. So to the people here today, congratulations. To the residents of Durham that will benefit from this building, it is a wonderful sight. And to those families that will make a difference in their lives and the care of their loved ones, we are so lucky. Durham is not only the fastest growing region in all of Canada, but I think we're the most caring. I wish you all a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Those two are a tough act to follow, let me tell you. So thank you, Mr. Bethlenfalvy and Chair John Henry. It's great to have you here, and your words certainly are kind to us, and we know the impact that this is going to have. You know, I was trying to do the math on 320 residents over, we talk about, you know, the lifespan of this building, how much we're actually going to impact people, their families, and really, you know, what we talk about at Lakeridge is the building is beautiful, the care is going to be outstanding, and we know that, Julie, for sure. We got a few more celebrations this morning. We want to talk about our one of the generous donations that has come forward. $60,000 presented to us by UA Local 46, plumbers, steam fitters, and welders in partnership with PCL Construction. This donation is really going to help us make this building feel like a home. We are transforming our halls with the artwork and colors and friendly locations through your generous donation. So we'd invite you now to come forward. I'll call up Dave Griffin, Business Manager for Local 46 and PCL Construction, Vice President and District Manager Mark Piscoli, as well as Victor Scroll, the Chair of the Ajax Pickering Foundation Board of Directors, for this check presentation. Thank you so much to Local 46. And so we also want to acknowledge another donation, a generous donation from a Durham resident, Beverly Rogers. for her $10,000 donation towards Lakeridge Gardens hair salon. We were joking inside, the hair salon is absolutely beautiful, and it's really important for the people that call this their home to have access to those types of services. And thank you so much, Beverly, for your generosity. We wanted to give you an opportunity to come forward and have your photo taken. It's and the view as well, Vic. Thank you. As they're starting to come forward, I'm not sure, some of the folks here have blankets on their laps. This was also a generous donation to us through the foundation. And every single resident that will come through this building will be given one of these quilts as a generosity from the foundation. It's lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so now's the time everybody's been waiting for. We're actually going to do the official opening of Lakeridge Gardens, and we'd invite you to come forward to help us with the ribbon cutting.